Good afternoon. This is just going to be a short walkthrough video of my forge so that you see what it is I actually use on a daily basis to make the products I make. This is my forge to start with. It is simply been made out of a flat plate stock and cut to size and welded together to make the fire pot and the frame and the lid, and then angle iron used to make the frame for it to stand on. And we go down here, you will see the pot and the ash pan underneath, and here is my air blower. This is the cheapest hair dryer I could find in our local big box store. It's not pretty, but it works. It gets the fire up to the temperatures that I need in order to work with. We'll go across here. We have, again, one of my two bench grinders. Again, it is the cheapest one I could find, but it works. And then we have a guillotine used for rounding pipes, narrowing pieces, putting shoulders in. This is made simply out of scrap pieces of angle iron, and then the actual jaws are a piece of leaf spring that I have ground into a curve at the bottom in order to do the job. Then we have my first ever anvil, which was a simple little Harbour Freight style cast anvil, which the only part of it I now use is the horn. That's why I still have it, kept it, and haven't scrapped it, is it has a horn on it, which none of my other anvils have. Then this is another anvil I made, which is two pieces of rail track cut and ground and then welded together so that I could get a hardy hole. And then here we have a simple dishing stump. It is what it is. It's simply a wooden stump with a dish ground into the top. And then my little pride and joy is my round anvil, which essentially is a 6-pound shot put, steel shot put off Amazon, welded onto a piece of scrap square tubing. It actually stands up quite well to a lot of abuse. And then we have my leg vise, which is second hand. I got free from a scrapyard. And then across to the anvil I am using the most, which is a 14-inch long by 3-inch square block of steel. It's not pretty, but it is hard. It does actually have quite a good rebound to it. So, it has a nice ring, which means it does actually do a good bit of work for me. Again, this was free. You don't need a lot to start. Over here, we'll look at some of my different hammers, which I've picked up every once in a while. Where we have a few smaller, like this is a 1-pound crossbeam hammer. I have no idea how old this is, but you can see from the damage to the handle, it does have a good few years on it. This is a little 1/2-pound hammer. This is great for texturing and for getting into those wee, small, tiny places just to try and finish off the edge. Then we have the big boy, which is a 3-pound crossbeam hammer, which I bought off Amazon. As you can see, it doesn't actually, from its condition, this doesn't actually get used that much. 3 pound doesn't sound like a lot of weight, but when you're swinging it all day long, this thing gets heavy. The hammer I use the most in my forge is this one, which is a 2-pound ball peen hammer, but with one slight difference. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I took the grinder and rounded off the face. There's still a flat part to the face, but the edge has all been rounded off to make it into more of a rounding hammer, so that it will actually give me more. It stops there being as much of the hammer edge on the piece. And my curling tongs for doing fine little tails and scrolling are these. Simple, cheap pair of needle nose pliers. But with these, if I can get it into focus, you can see I've actually ground off the teeth, so it is now a smooth edge with a slight round to it. Did that on both sides. You can see there I haven't done right into the back there because I never use that part of them. Those are my scrolling pliers. As for my tongs, this is what I mostly use. Just a pair of adjustable wrench. Again, it's cheap, but it works. I use these for longer pieces. Anything over in and around 6 to 8 inches long, I'll use these. If it's over 8 inches, I'll just use a glove. But for really small pieces, the likes of leaves that actually have to go into the fire, which these don't lock, I use a pair of locking vice grips. These are a couple of pound. So even when the springs go, like this pair has, and they no longer work, just throw them in the bin, get another pair. And these, you can lock the piece in and actually set it into the fire. As you can see with the state of these, that has been done quite a few times. The only real money I've spent in my forge is on my welder, which is a flux core welder from Mac Tools, which I'm still learning how to use. And it was £250 sterling. And then the big boy in the corner is my air compressor, which I just bought this year. I'm actually still paying it off. And this was around £500. This is a 200 litre air compressor, and it is used to run my air tools, which I have an air drill, a cut-off tool, which is essentially a little air angle grinder, and a pair of nibblers. If you want to see more about